The rain had not stopped for 3 days. It tapped softly against the window of Maya's small apartment, the sound both comforting and cruel. Every drop reminded her of the night she walked out of the house she once called home. The night her husband, Rayan, shattered her trust with the same ease he used to hold her hand. She had thought love was enough to fix his temper, enough to erase the lies, enough to rebuild what had already started crumbling. But love, she had learned, could be a dangerous illusion when given to the wrong person. Maya stared at the half-packed boxes on the floor. They were supposed to be a symbol of a new beginning, yet all she felt was emptiness. She used to paint in this room, bright colors that filled the walls with hope. Now the canvases leaned against the wall, silent witnesses to her silence. Her phone buzzed, a message from her friend Zara. "Please come to the open mic tonight. You don't have to speak, just come." Maya almost ignored it. She hadn't spoken to a crowd since the night Rayan humiliated her in front of their friends, calling her weak, dramatic, broken. But something in her stirred, a whisper she hadn't heard in months. She typed back, "Okay, I'll come." That evening, the cafe lights were warm, the air thick with poetry and unsaid stories. People clapped, laughed, cried. When Zara nudged her to go next, Maya's heart pounded so loud she could barely hear her own thoughts. But when she stood before the microphone, a strange calm washed over her. Her trembling hands gripped the stand, and her voice, soft, uncertain, began to tell the story of a woman who had forgotten how to love herself. She didn't mention names, didn't cry, but every word was a piece of her, stitched together through pain. When she finished, the room fell silent for a second, and then erupted in applause. Maya smiled for the first time in months. She had found her voice again. That night changed something. She started writing every day, not for anyone else, but for herself. Words became her therapy, her rebellion. She wrote about heartbreak, betrayal, forgiveness, and the strange beauty of being human. She started a small online page, Broken Yet Spoken, where she shared her pieces anonymously. To her surprise, people responded. Women from across the world left comments. "You just told my story. I thought I was alone." Maya realized that her pain wasn't a cage anymore. It was a bridge. Months passed. The page grew. Her audience multiplied. But she still felt afraid of being truly seen. Until one day, she received a message from a girl named Alina. "I was going to end my life tonight. Then I read your poem, The Girl Who Forgot the Sun. You saved me." Maya read it again and again, tears streaming down her face. That was the moment she understood. Her brokenness was not a weakness. It was a language, and people were listening. But healing is never a straight road. When Rayan found her online page, he tried to twist her words against her. He sent her screenshots mocking her writing. "You're making me look like a monster," he texted. She almost deleted the page that night. Almost. But then she remembered Alina's message, and all the women who had found light through her darkness. For the first time, she didn't hide. She replied simply, "Maybe you were one." Days later, Maya was invited to perform at a women's conference. It was her first public appearance under her real name. As she stepped on stage, her heart raced. The lights were bright, the audience quiet. She could feel her old fears creeping in, the voice that said she wasn't enough. But she remembered that girl in the cafe months ago, trembling, but brave. She took a deep breath and began. Her poem wasn't about revenge or sadness. It was about rebirth. She spoke of learning to stand, to forgive without forgetting, to rebuild without erasing scars. Her voice didn't shake this time. It soared. When she finished, she saw people wiping tears. Someone shouted, "You're not broken. You're powerful." Maya smiled, and this time she believed it. Her story was no longer a whisper. It was a roar that carried the weight of countless women who had been silenced. After the event, she was approached by publishers, journalists, and strangers who wanted to thank her. But what mattered most to her was the quiet messages from survivors who said, "You helped me find my voice too." Years later, Maya sat in a bright studio, recording her podcast, Broken Yet Spoken. Her voice, calm yet full of fire, reached thousands every week. She talked about resilience, about the art of surviving gently. She read letters from listeners, told stories of women and men who had been hurt, but still chose kindness. Her life wasn't perfect. She still had scars, still woke up some mornings with heaviness in her chest. But she had learned that healing didn't mean forgetting the pain. It meant learning to dance with it. One afternoon, she received a package. Inside was an old photograph, her and Rayan, smiling, taken years ago. On the back, he had written, "I'm sorry. I hope you're happy." Maya looked at it for a long moment, then placed it in a box labeled past. She whispered, "I am." Then she returned to her microphone, pressed record, and spoke. "To everyone listening, you are not your pain. You are not your mistakes. You are the voice that rises after the silence. You are broken, yes, but beautifully, bravely spoken." The rain began again outside her window, gentle this time. But it didn't sound lonely anymore. It sounded like applause.